Welcome to the Get in the Fight podcast. My name is Nate Whitson, and I'm the founder of Get in the Fight Ministries and our exclusive online fight club for Christian men. Everything we do here is dedicated to helping Christian men become the men that God meant for them to be. So if you're looking for helpful content and conversations that can help you to grow and become the man that God made you to be, then you're in the right place. But before we get started, please do me a huge favor and be sure to subscribe, click the like button, and then leave us a 5-star review. Doing that helps us to reach more men who are looking for content just like this. Also, if you'd like to learn more about our mission and how to get involved or how to join the Fight Club, then head on over to getinthefight.club. That's getinthefight.club and learn more today. But without further ado, it's time to get in the fight. So let's go. Hey guys, welcome to the Get in the Fight podcast. I'm your host, Nate Whitson. Thanks for jumping in here today. Super grateful to have you listening. If you haven't yet, I know the intro already says this, but man, it's helpful to us. Would you just pause real quick, click the like button on this YouTube channel, subscribe to it so you can just be notified when new episodes come. And if this is a conversation today that you think, man, that's super helpful, I appreciate that, or I know somebody that could really benefit from this, then do us a favor and share it on your social media channels, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it might be, X, email it to somebody. I don't care. All of it helps. All of it helps. So we can't, reach more men who are looking for content just like this one today without your help. And so, man, just subscribing is huge. Commenting, liking, and then sharing it makes a big difference. So there's that commercial for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. So this is a podcast, again, for you that are new to it. We continue to grow new listeners every day. If you're new to this, it's worth knowing this. This is a place for Christian men in particular who are trying to get after it, who are trying to live life to the fullest, trying to become better men, better Christians, better husbands, better fathers, better followers of Jesus Christ. And so if that's you, we are here to talk about what I think are helpful, practical, useful conversations towards that end. How do I be the man that God meant for me to be? That's really kind of been my own journey. That was the start of this. That continues to be the theme and the messaging of this. And again, if you're a man that's trying to be a better version of the man that God had in mind for you when he made you, then you're in the right place. So again, thanks for joining us today. We cover a lot of different topics, but obviously one of the biggest ones that we deal with is how to be a better husband. And again, if you're not married, I still think it's a relevant conversation for you if you ever hope to be married. These are things that rather than waiting 20 years into your marriage like me, maybe you could start at 20 days into your marriage and just be that much better off. Just having tools and conversations to help you as you prepare for marriage if you're not quite there. But if you are, then this is probably an issue that you deal with. How do I continue to get better at being the husband that my wife needs from me? How do I lead her better? How do I lead my family better? How do I play more of the role that I am meant to play? Because guess what? When you look at Scripture, you see clearly that men are to be leaders of their homes. You are the head of the home. God has positioned you and me in a place of responsibility, that what happens in your home is your responsibility. It is under your leadership, right? And so we need to get better at communicating with our number one, with our spouse. And so today I think of this and I think, man, I know that I feel like the conversation is continually in front of us. Like, how do you communicate better? I know I need to communicate better with my wife. But if you're like me, just having somebody say, hey man, get out there and, communicate with your wife better. It's important. Just speak to her, just talk to her and let her know. That's great up to a certain point. But I am the kind, at least, that really is like, just tell me the answer. Maybe you relate with that a little bit yourself. It's like, if you're coming to a podcast like this, you're thinking, okay, I already know that I'm supposed to talk with my wife more and be a better communicator, but I don't know what that means, and that's why I'm looking for help. So would you just tell me the answer? How do I connect better with my wife? How do I communicate with her more easily? Well, today's conversation, I think, is one that can benefit all of us in that way. It's a simple idea to help married Christian men learn to check in more regularly with their wives, and in that have a script, have here's a preset idea of what we're going to talk about so that we don't have to wrestle through it or come up with something fancy or feel that internal pressure to lead in a way that we don't know how, right? So today I hope is like extremely practical and helpful for you if you're looking for help in communicating better with your wife. So I'd heard this the other day in a leadership training I was in. I have no idea who to give credit to. I probably should have investigated that before I clicked start on this podcast. So if you are the guy that started this, props to you. If I can find it, I'll put it in the show notes. But again, I'm sure this is information that's just free for us all to share. I thought it was super helpful, and so I want to share this with you as well. This acronym is FANOS. Sounds like the Marvel character Thanos, but it's FANOS, FANOS. It's an acronym that stands for this: feelings, affirmations, needs, ownership, and then struggles. Feelings, affirmations, needs, ownership, and struggles. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to walk you through those 5 categories of FANOS and talk about how you can use those in a really practical way to create conversation with your wife on a weekly, monthly basis, whatever you feel like is necessary. But I think you're going to see it's probably something that a weekly check-in probably makes the most sense for you. But again, I think it's a script that you can follow. For a lot of guys, it's just like, yeah, tell me the script, give me the answers, help me to know what to do, and I'll go do the work. I hope that's kind of where you're at today, and I hope that's really helpful to you like this. So let's go through the first thing here. What you would do with FANOS, again, is you would just create time with your wife once a week. I would even print these out, especially early on. You may not have to have it after the first few sessions with her, but print this out so that you both have it, or you can both see it. Maybe you only need one copy, maybe. But you're just going to simply say, hey, I would like to get better at communicating with you. I want to make sure that we have the best possible communication. I want to make sure that we're missing less. I want to connect with you better. Even just doing that, by the way, is probably going to make your wife just be like, oh, I love him. He's so awesome. What husbands do this? Like, he's the best, right? Like, that's all good. Hopefully that happens here. But really, just print this off and just communicate that to her in your own words. I want to communicate better with you. I want to try to create something. I was listening to this podcast called Get in the Fight Podcast, and it's probably the best podcast in the world. Okay, you don't have to say all that, but you might. It'd be fine. She don't know. And just let her know, like, this was a test run or a tool or anything you want to say to help you guys come together and improve your marriage, get better at your marriage, get better at your communication. And so you're going to have this list of feelings, affirmations, needs, ownerships, and struggles, and you're simply going to talk through it. That's the whole podcast. Honestly, that's it. Print this off, put those words, set up a time to talk. That's the thing. But if you're looking for more, I'll kind of give you some more insight here. The first thing you're going to talk about is feelings. And I'm guessing most of you, when you hear that, you roll your eyes like, oh crap, like I don't want to do that, right? If you're a man's man, you're like, dude, I don't want to talk about feelings. But guess what? This isn't about you, and your leadership is needed to push past maybe your feeling like you don't want to talk about feelings, right? This doesn't have to be crazy. But you do have to talk about feelings because you do have them. Even the feelings that you're having right now of, oh, brother, I don't want to have to do this. That itself is a feeling. And if you communicated that with her, it's probably helpful. It lets her inside of your mind a little bit. And you could just say, look, I don't love talking about feelings, but I know this is important. And so just be patient with me. I'll get better, I promise. But this isn't a strength of mine, but I want to do this for you. She will appreciate you talking about those feelings and all the rest as well. So when you talk about feelings, this is where you're going to share. Each person would share what they're feeling kind of like in the moment. It could be positive or it could be negative, but it's a chance to kind of open up about your emotions without fear or judgment. And again, remember, this isn't just about you. Your wife is also going to have a chance to share her feelings. And again, she might be better at this, but it's about both of you being able to come together, let's just say once a week, to kind of share how you're doing in the moment, right? You might say something like, man, today I'm just feeling a little bit overwhelmed with work. I'm tired today, but I'm feeling grateful, for the time that we had together this week or our family time. I'm grateful for certain things, but I'm also just feeling tired. If that's how you're feeling, that's a really simple thing. It doesn't have to be more than that, but it lets her in and it lets her know what's going on. And then she's going to have a chance to say, you know what, today I'm kind of feeling stressed out because something with the kids or with something that didn't happen at work or whatever it might be for her. It doesn't really matter. The point is, you're going to take just a few minutes to check in with each other about your feelings. And I'm telling you, this goes a long way for each other, the empathy that you might give to one another, or there might be something going on in her life that you need to, as leader of the home and leader of her heart, to be able to be connected to that you didn't even know was going on. Like, oh man, there's something with the kids. What was that? There's something going on here that's stressing you out. What is that? Right? Simple check-in with your feelings. That's number one. The second part is affirmations. Here's where you affirm your spouse and you just express appreciation to them, or maybe highlight something positive that you just think would make her day. Build them up, support her, and really just kind of strengthen your relationship by just noticing and affirming what you see in them. Like, hey, I just want to tell you, like, I saw how hard you worked earlier with the kids, how patient you were, because I would have freaked out on them, but you didn't. You did an amazing job. And man, I love how you handle working with our kids. I'm so proud of you for that, or whatever it might be, right? It's a time where she gets to affirm you and you get to affirm her in a really cool way. Now, again, like feelings and affirmations, I get it. Like, trust me, as I go through this, I get it. When it was being taught to me, there's a big part of me that's pushing back like, okay, what kind of wishy-washy, goofy crap is this? But I'm telling you, we will tend to push aside things like feelings and affirmations as being silly, waste of time, psychological mumbo jumbo, whatever it is. I bet if you're thinking that right now, I'm just going to like push back against you and just say, listen, just try this, right? Change the words if you want to. I don't care. Don't call it FANOS. Call it something that seems better for you. It doesn't matter. My point is, I think this could really help you. I think men need to figure out ways to pull their wife in and to let her into what's happening inside of your heart. And we need to do a better job at giving her the opportunity to go through something like FANOS, even if you're not a big fan of it, right? That was a silly joke that totally bombed. Anywho, you may not be a fan of FANOS, but she is probably really hoping that you will, figure out something like this, and she will appreciate the effort like crazy. So talk about your feelings. How you feeling in the moment? How's your week been? What are you dealing with right now? Each of you gets a chance to do that. Talk about something affirming, something positive that you can express appreciation or gratitude for each other on. How cool would that be? The third thing is needs. This is where you share something that you need, and it could be like, I need help emotionally with something, practically with something, maybe just like I need time to recharge, or I just need 15 minutes, or whatever it is. But when you talk about your needs, it is this really cool moment where you're able to say to them, again, just something that you need. You're able to communicate something that would be helpful to you, that you wish somebody could come alongside and partner with you in and help. And guess what? Now you don't have to just think this in your head. Now you actually have a format and an opportunity to express those things to her. How cool is that? This could be really awesome. So you might just say, hey man, today was crazy at work. I had 3 different meetings. One of them, the client flipped out on me, or something fell apart, or whatever it might be. And you might just say, like, it's Friday evening. I'm just exhausted. Like, it would be so cool if I just had 30 minutes to just close the door, lay here in bed, and just scroll through X, or chill out, or close my eyes, whatever it is. You get my point. This would be really cool if I had this need met. And guess what's also really cool? She gets the chance to communicate the same. I just need a little bit of time. It would be really cool if I could just get away with my friend and go have a coffee, whatever it might be, right? So now you've worked your way through, like, this is how I'm feeling right now in the moment, or at the end of the week. I really appreciate this about what I see in you, your help this week, or this, whatever. Here's where I need some help from you. This would be really cool if I could get some help like this, right? Thinking through that. And by the way, like, as you go through this more often, like the first time you go through these things, you might feel like a little bit like, I don't really know what to say about this, but you'll figure it out. You'll see what's helpful. You'll kind of like together, I think, navigate through this really, really well and figure out like, okay, how do I just communicate these things, even not just in this little 10 or 15 minute, session that you're having together. I bet you get really good at it throughout the week too. You just learn to say, hey, I could really use some help here. Would you mind? Oh, no, cool. It's good. It doesn't have to be this formal sit down, but this formal sit down of FANOS, I think, will help you to be able to navigate some of that more naturally the rest of the week too. Hey, I really appreciate this about you. Man, you know what? I'm really just kind of struggling today, or my mindset is not good, or man, I'm feeling great. Like, I'm so grateful for where we're at, grateful for what God did this week, or anything like that, right? Feelings don't have to be negative. Maybe you're just doing great, and she needs to know that too. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the show so far, and if you are, please do me a big favor and simply get engaged in a simple way. For you, that might be clicking the like button, or maybe subscribing to the show. For others, it may be commenting on a show that really stands out to them, or maybe it's just copying the URL and texting it to a friend, or pasting that into your social media, whatever it is. All of those things make a huge difference for us, and it helps us to reach more Christian men who are trying to live bigger and better lives. So thank you for being a listener and for being a part of this community and part of this show. We appreciate it more than you know, and we appreciate you getting engaged and helping us out. Thanks so much. Now back to the show. So as you work your way down this, you go through your feelings, your affirmations, your needs, and then ownership. This is where each of you really gets a chance to kind of look at your responsibility to take charge of your actions, maybe your attitudes, or anything else that you might have done that impacted your relationship negatively since you last met. Again, in simple terms, ownership is what it is. It's about owning up to something that you need to own up to. Maybe it's like, I need to own up that I have been distracted lately. Maybe it's like, I need to own up to you that, I haven't been present with you, and I'm sorry about that. Or maybe you need to own up to the fact that I told you I would do this thing for you, and I didn't get it done, and that's my bad. I promise I'll get it done here, right? It's anything like that you can think about before you come into this meeting, this conversation, this little getaway with her for 10 or 15 minutes a week. Is there anything that you need to own up to, anything that she needs to own up to, that really allows you to say, man, you know what? Let's get better at this, or let's get this done, or let's work on this together. Something like that. Again, how cool? How cool would it be if you could really communicate in a simple fashion like this? I think it could be really just amazing for your marriage. All right, so that's FANO, feelings, affirmations, needs, ownership, and then struggles. This is where you might just share something that you're struggling with, either individually or maybe something you're struggling with in your relationship. And it's a chance to just be vulnerable, be honest, right? Maybe you're going to say, like, I'm struggling with just feeling like we're kind of disconnected lately. I know we're busy. I know we haven't spent much time together. And I'm just kind of struggling with the fact that it seems like, we just don't get out on dates like we used to. Or I feel like we're just kind of struggling to communicate. Is everything okay? Is there anything on your mind that we need to clear the air on, right? Anything that you might say, I'm just struggling a little bit with fill in the blank, right? Again, how cool? How cool could this conversation be to make a scheduled out, carved out time for both of you to have a chance to say something that we typically, especially as guys, maybe just kind of swallow it. Be like, this thing's kind of bugging me, but it's not that big a deal, so I'm just going to let it go. And then it becomes a big deal, and then we just blow up because we just kind of kept swallowing that thing that you've been struggling with, and never really had like this rhythm or routine that you could get into to help solve it or work it out together. And this happens all the time. We know that we need to communicate better with our wives, but we also don't really know how to do that. I think that's how most of us feel. Like, she's so different than me. We communicate different. Her needs are different. I just don't know how to understand women. We hear these things all the time. FANOS can be this really cool way to just build into the rhythm of your home and in your marriage a really short window of time to just connect. This is how I'm feeling. But man, I appreciate so much of what you do. I appreciate you in all these different ways. Be specific. Here's some needs that I have that I think would be great, and I would love to hear what needs you have. Where can I step in and fill in the gap for you? Here's some things that I need to take ownership of this week. Where did you drop the ball? What do you need to do? And then here's some struggles that I just want to share with you really quick. Things I've been feeling, things I've been noticing, things that are just not getting done that are kind of bothering me, and I don't want them to turn into a bigger problem, right? So look, there's no like one way to do this. Again, if you don't like the words in the acronym, change it. I don't know what you change it to, but feel free, right? If you don't like FANOS, change it up. Is there other questions or things you'd like to do? Make up your own. Take this idea and make it specific to you. Make it better. But the point is that you and your wife can come together and find a way to make communication better today. Again, just let her know, like, hey, I listen to this podcast regularly. It's called Get in the Fight. It's for Christian men. And they were talking about this thing called FANOS, and I think it'd be really cool for us to try it. I printed off this thing, and it just tells you exactly what they are. Here's how it works. We go through this one at a time. It gives us maybe 10 minutes a week to chat, and we'll go through feelings, affirmations, needs, struggles, ownership, all these things. And I just think it could be really helpful for us. What do you think? That's a great way for you to introduce this to your wife. I heard about it. I think it could be really cool. And it matters to me that we keep getting better, that we keep fighting for our marriage. What do you think about trying this together? And then you go through it and you're like, okay, this was a little cheesy. Maybe we'll just keep trying it a few times. Maybe there's different words we can use, or maybe there's different things that we should talk about instead, whatever that might be. Pick a day, give it a shot, and then just let her know, like, look, I don't have 30 minutes. You probably don't have 30 minutes. Let's not like make this a super long session, but like, I would love to just carve out time. Maybe like for a lot of you, it will be Saturday morning, or maybe it's Friday evening or whatever. You know the rhythm of your week. A lot of times I see this being used though towards the end of the week. It gives you a chance to kind of like recap. You know, you tend to be down energy wise, strength wise. A lot of stuff happens during the week. The weekend kind of gives you a chance to decompress. Maybe you're not working all day and you can find time at lunch on a Saturday. I don't know. You think through that, but pick a day, give it a shot. And again, like, I guess I want to encourage you as we start to wrap this up, like, try it without judgment at least a few times, right? Like, maybe the first time feels awkward. Maybe it doesn't go like you wished it would have or thought it could have. It's all right. Just stay with it, right? Give it a couple weeks of it. Give it a couple months of it, something like that. But at least see what works and then make adjustments to it. Make sure she knows, though, like for your own sake and maybe for hers, that this isn't a long sit down that we need to carve out this huge commitment of time. I think that'll be important up front that you say that. Just make sure she knows this is a simple weekly check-in to stay connected and communicate better, right? I think most of the time it'll probably take you 10 or 15 minutes to get through this. But I'm telling you, it could lead to really great communication during that time, really great just emotional connecting that's so important for your wife. And then I think, like, in the end of it, again, what you'll see happen is that it teaches you how to communicate really naturally just in the day-to-day flow. FANOS could be super re-energizing, I think, for your marriage. So listen, in the beginning, write FANOS down so that you can remember what each letter stands for, and so that she can see it too. And again, you'll have something to hold, something to look at, a script to go by, and it doesn't feel like you're just winging it or just turning it into a free-for-all conversation. Write it down, print it out, bring it with you, whatever you need. One person goes, start with feelings. She goes, or you go first, and then the other person. Talk about it quickly and then move to the next thing. The other spouse is going to listen, and then she goes or you go, and then after that you discuss whatever you need to, right? Maybe something will get brought up during FANOS conversations that you need to spend a little bit more time on. That's awesome. Again, this might only be a 10 or 15 minute thing, so you might have to say, hey, you know what, I got to move on to this, or she might say, I got to get to dinner, or whatever the thing is. But it gives you a chance to say, let's not skip past this. Let's come back and chat about this. When do you think is a good time for us to talk more about it, right? And then make that thing happen. Here's the last thing that you'll do with FANOS. You're going to pray. So one of the main things that we hear about a lot is like how difficult it is for husbands and wives to pray together. I mean, just ask yourself, like, how well do you do at that? When's the last time that you've done that? I know for many people, this is like a huge obstacle, a huge hurdle that's kind of like, I know I should communicate with my wife and I know I should pray with my wife, but I feel kind of awkward or, unsure about how to do either one. This opportunity to say, hey, let's try this is such a cool way of doing the hard work and leading your family the way that you should lead your family in really cool and practical ways that are going to pay off for you in huge dividends. So go through FANOS. And at the end, say, hey, that was really cool. I really appreciate that. Thanks for communicating with me. Let's just close up and pray and keep it short. right? This doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out prayer where you're praying for everything. Some people love praying and talking, hearing their voice. Some people are like, yeah, God help us, we need you, amen, right? Keep it short, whatever it is. Just pray together, though. Hold her hands, sit together or stand, hold her hands, and pray for her. There's something about like that physical touch of holding her hands or putting an arm around her, whatever it is, sitting down, holding her hands, whatever it is, right? Pray together, though. Pray for her. Ask God to bless her. Let her hear your words of blessing over her life. Let her hear you pray for her. And again, I'm a words of affirmation guy. I know for every guy it's a little different, but it is, even if that's not your love language, there's something really powerful when you hear somebody affirm to God how important you are to them. You know, for many men at least, our main thrust, our main purpose in life is to support our families, to raise good homes, to lead well. We do all that we do for our family. And when you hear appreciation and somebody else praying for you, man, it just fills your cup. It's a cool thing. So she needs to hear that. And I'm telling you, you might need to hear it more than you thought. And I think it just might spark something cool in your marriage, right? So try FANOS: feelings, affirmations, needs, ownership, and struggles. And listen, it doesn't have to be perfect. If it doesn't flow, if it doesn't, feel perfect to you again the first time, just no worries. Change it up. Go with the flow of it. The worst thing that can happen is that you talk and communicate. And guess what? That's a great thing. So you can't really screw it up. Don't put too much pressure on yourself this way. Use these ideas as a prompt. Keep it short, especially early. And if it develops and grows and you want to turn it into a longer, once a week kind of thing, cool, do that. But the main thing is that you get together, that you communicate about important things like this, and that you pray together, right? So don't reject this idea because it deals with feelings and needs and all this kind of stuff. Just trust me on it. Trust me. Try it and write me, Nate@gettinthefight.club. Let me know what you thought. How did it go? Follow me on X. Communicate with me there. Or if you're not a part of our free Christian community for men only, then join it. It's totally free. Gettinthefight.club/join, or just again, go to gettinthefight.club. You'll see join buttons. You'll see different programs and things that we have there, but we actually have this online community with men from all over the world. We gather on there. We chat privately there. Again, it's only people who I allow in through this application process that takes like 2 minutes. But it's this really cool place for us to be able to communicate and share ideas like this, communicate with one another, encourage one another, help one another. We have a free newsletter that you can sign up for at gettinthefight.club. Just click on the word newsletter, find that there. Again, just like free resources like this podcast, like our app, like our newsletter, all geared towards helping Christian men become the men that God meant for them to be. That's our prayer. That's our hope. That's our mission. And so again, if you're trying to be a better husband, a better father, a better follower of Jesus, then get all these free things. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to gettinthefight.club. Join. It's totally free. Newsletter, totally free. There's other things, of course, there that you can purchase, like programs on how to quit porn for good, or just how to study and grow and become a man of honor and discipline, strength and joy, and all these other things that you'll find programs for that as well. But man, we're here to help you to grow and to become better men. We're trying to fight for that ourselves, and we're so glad that you're here in that fight. So try FANOS, give it at least a month, and then let me know how it goes. But I'm praying for you today. Have a great marriage. Talk to you soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here today and listening to the show. Please be sure to head over to the website at gettinthefight.club. And before you go, if you haven't already, please subscribe, click the like button, and leave us a positive 5-star review. It makes a huge difference whenever you do. Have a great day. Go get in the fight.